My name is Selim.Digital. I'm a high school science teacher, and I am resuming a keto diet for the summer. And I really wanted to just sort of have a bit of a documentation of how it goes. The video quality of this sucks. I'm sure the sound is terrible, but if I can create a journey, a record of my journey, it will probably help me, and maybe it might help other people who are looking to do this. I, at my peak, was about 400 pounds sometime in 2016 or so. I'm now about 260 pounds, which obviously in and of itself is phenomenal. But I had gotten as low as I think 220, and I'd say the last year or so I've slipped and have allowed carbs to really come back into my life. Most of the weight loss, really, I'd say at least half of the weight loss was due to my being strictly in keto for about 2 years. Unfortunately, I don't really have any evidence of that for my own self beyond some pictures. So while I'm not thrilled that I've regained 30 to 40 pounds, I think there might be a silver lining in the sense that I can attempt to share how I believe I will be able to get back to closer to my ideal weight and size. I found that carbs and me just don't get along. I'm sure lots of people have that problem. I think of carbs like the crazy ex-girlfriend that, gives the most amazing sexual experience you can ever have, but also is willing to light your car on fire when you try to break up with her. There are some people who can say, yeah, I'll just have a slice of pizza. I've never been that guy. I need, half a pizza, or like a whole line of the Oreo cookies. It's kind of binary. It's either I have all or none. I have not figured out how to have just a little bit. So I'm going back on keto. This is, I think, day 2. Yesterday I was 259 pounds. This morning I was 257 pounds. I know that it's just going to be a little bit of water loss at first, but that's okay. The journey starts somewhere. Right now I feel really tired. I have very low energy. I know part of that is probably electrolytes from the water loss, but also just as your body switches from burning carbohydrates, or metabolizing carbohydrates, I should say, to produce ATP in your cells, and switching from metabolizing fatty acids in producing ketones to produce ATP, that switch in how your mitochondria is operating does seem to be accompanied with a bit of a lagging time. I think people call it keto flu or other types of things, but for me, what I've noticed is it will take me at least a week of low power to get to the point where I can then resume operating at normal capacity. So this week, luckily as a high school teacher, I'm off for the summer, which is part of why I'm trying to attempt to do this now, when I can just I don't need to do tons of physical things. Right now, I am going to just have a simple keto-ish meal. I'm having an omelet with some pickled onions, some sour cream, and some peppers and mushrooms. Now, that's not a carnivore meal, but I'm a big fan of the idea of not letting progress get in the way of perfection. I think this will satisfy me for quite a long time, and what will end up happening is, as a result of being satisfied and not having blood sugar spikes, I will not wind up snacking. And fundamentally, that's what I need at this point. Worrying about, how many grams of carbs or anything like that, as long as you're not, as long as your meal is predominantly fat and protein based, then your blood sugar should not spike to the point where you'll have an elevated sugar level and then a drop sugar level, and then that leading to the cycle of perpetual snacking. I estimate that eating this at noon, I probably will not be hungry for another 3 or 4 hours, and that will be enough to tide me over until dinner, so I can basically have 2 meals today. My goal is to try and journal, video document something every day, and hopefully be able to see the difference over time.